Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning into the Boxing Authorities. Joining me at the desk, as always, Luther Dupree Jr., Smoking Jim Frazier, and my name is Claudio Relisano. A guy that I think is under the radar, a guy who keeps winning, and maybe we need to talk a little bit more about him, Luth. I don't know, you're shaking your head. Jaime Mungia, he's 40-0, 32 knockouts. He knocked out Jimmy Kelly, who's 26, 3-10 knockouts. Is he underrated? Should we be talking more about Mungia?
Oh, my God. No, really? Definitely not. Look at this. This guy, Jimmy Kelly, was giving it to him the first couple rounds. You know, he can't avoid a jab. He can't avoid a left hook. He does have power, but once again, Oscar De La Hoya, too busy running around in fishnets to put this guy in with any tough competition. Very overhyped. He has 40 wins. Who has he fought? Nobody. He went tooth and nail, life and death with Gabe Rosado. Could have lost that fight. No. There was an offer on the table for him to fight Jamal Charlo. Oscar De La Hoya went in there and nixed it. This guy is not very good. He's overhyped. This whole weekend to me was overhyped Saturday. He's overhyped. Edgar Beitlinga's overhyped. No, he's not underrated.
All right.
This guy can't beat anybody. He should have fought Bubu Andrade. Triple G was over at the Zone. No, they're hiding this guy. He's not fighting tough competition. He's a daggone hype job. No, he's very overrated.
Smoking Jim.
I tell you what, he's very underrated.
You don't know what
Charlo
you're
will
talking
never fight him.
There was an offer on the table before you say that, and Oscar said no.
Well, until we see proof of that.
There was proof of it. Oscar admitted there was proof of
It's
it.
good to trust, better to verify, right,
Yeah,
Jim?
Charlo's been fighting some, pretty inferior guys.
This guy.
Throughout his career.
40-0.
This would be a great fight that, people would get behind. But
Oscar will never let it happen.
Charlo has never even mentioned.
That's fake, Jim. No, I'm not going to let you do that this time.
No,
there was an offer out there, and Oscar admitted there was an offer, but hey, I want to bring
Charlo hasn't mentioned this guy's name.
Yes, he has.
When?
Yes, there was an offer made. Oscar De La Hoya came out and said, hey, I'd love to come in on this deal, but we're not going to do it unless
I said Charlo.
Charlo put the offer out there. Yes, the offer was made. It was agreed upon.
Promoter now?
It was agreed upon. If you did your research, Jim, you would know that.
Or is he?
You would know that, Jim.
Or is he
this guy's fought nobody. Listen, he's
fought
fought D-level guys just like Charlo.
Not a promoter. Yeah.
Hey,
the offer was out there, Jim.
Speaking of all that, though, and I know what you're going to say, but I'm going to ask you anyway. We talk about it a lot.
Angry black man.
Because you're out there putting out nonsense,
I'm
Jim.
just saying.
I'm not doing this Smokepedia stuff.
Charlo won't fight him.
Who is Jaime Mungia fight? Go through his resume. You will find nothing but C-level cab drivers, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers.
I said we would like to see him.
And I'd like to see it too.
But Charlo would
Okay,
never
now you
fight
mentioned his record and the people he's fought. Do you think it was done intentionally?
Yes.
Look, Oscar is a former fighter, champion Hall of Fame fighter.
Yes.
He's a very successful promoter. Mm-hmm. In a sense, and I think you'll agree with me, a guy like him is also a boxing scout, right? Baseball, football, we know what we see. He knows, like when a guy can go a certain level, how far. See, Jim knows what he's talking about. If Oscar's sitting back and say, you know what, if we put him in against a Charlo, or this guy, he's going to get KO'd, and there goes there's one of our funnel of money income, the income funnel, am I saying it right?
Is
out. You know what I'm trying
Claudio.
to say? You know what I'm trying to say?
I know what you're trying to say.
The jig?
Listen, people know that Jaime Mungia is not that good. They couldn't fill up that arena.
But if he knows that, Luther, is what I'm trying to tell you, is funnel of income is what I was trying to articulate, and I didn't do it well. If he loses, he gets the hell knocked out of him. He's done. Am I right or wrong? That shine is gone from him. People might think, like me, he's 40-0. He's good. Okay, but if he fights somebody good, now he's not as good. You see what I'm trying to say? And he's not going to make any money.
After 40 fights, you need to fight somebody that's above sea level.
Right.
And the same thing I have for him.
You're
At least Jamal Charlo fought at Sergey Deverenchenko.
You're right.
We don't have anybody on Jaime Mungia's record who's above a sea level.
It's a weak middleweight class.
No, it should be a great middleweight class.
There's some guys he could fight, like you said.
Andrade. Why did he fight Andrade?
Yeah.
Why didn't he fight Triple G? Why didn't
Why
he
didn't
fight?
Charlo fight? I mean,
He's
we
tried,
can say the
he's
same
tried
question.
to fight.
We say the same question.
Those guys aren't fighting each other. That's the problem with the middle 160.
Yeah, it's a problem.
What would you do right now if you were Mungia, Oscar? Would you put him in against? Hell with it. Let's go. Put him up there
I
or
would
no?
love to see him meet up for Charlo.
You think he would?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he would. And that would be the
have
best
no
thing for the
idea.
middleweight division.
I think it'd be.
You'd have a fighting champion in there.
What would you do if you were Oscar?
You got to put him in with at least a B-level guy. You got to move him up. I would like to see Charlo. You know, that little crap that he said after the fight, hey, stop hiding behind this. The offer was made. You're a promoter, turned it down.
How many people got to call Charlos out before they fight?
Listen, there's an undisputed, Jermell Charlo's undisputed, so I don't know what you're talking about. He's fought everybody.
168 guy called him everything but the
Now,
child
first
of
of
God.
Jim, you
He still
know there's two of them, right? You do know there's two.
Yeah,
They're twins.
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
Jermell
yeah.
and Jamal.
Yeah.
And one of
Okay.
them might be out for a year from a back injury.
Yeah, that's
Really?
not-
Which one?
I saw him on an interview. His back didn't look messed up at all to me. I think they're waiting for a bigger fight.
one?
Jamal
After this?
Charlo fight again this year. Jamal Charlo was supposed to fight Selecki this past weekend,
He pulled
and the
out
fight
his
was
back.
pulled out. There was a back injury, spinal, like
But they
Mike
said
Tyson
maybe a
was saying.
year. They say he might be out for a year.
I guarantee you it won't be a year.
All right, I'm going with you. You're
I
right about
guarantee you
everything.
it won't be a year.
All right.
I think the ticket sales weren't going like they thought it would,
Maybe
and
he's
there's
at
a
the
bigger
Mardi
fight.
And I
Gras.
understand.
And
He's
there's
at
a
the Mardi
bigger
Gras
fight.
down there, and bees going wild.
All right. Well, the fight that's coming up on this week, Artur Beterbiev,
Yeah, buddy.
17-0, 17 knockouts, WBC IBF light heavyweight champ against the WBO light heavyweight champ, Joe Smith, who's 28, 3-22
I can't
on
wait.
ESPN.
I got my
King
slow-mo.
Arthur.
I got my
King
slow-mo
Arthur, Jim.
working.
You better put
ESPN.
some respect on his name. Artur Beterbiev is 17-0. Nobody has lasted in the ring with this guy. Joe Smith is about glass. Joe Smith is what we're going to be calling him after this fight. He's going to be victim number 18. Look at the power, Jim. I'm not worried about his speed. Look at this guy. Look at these guys.
Now,
He's
when you
destroying
say
them.
slow, though, not to interrupt you, Luke, when you say
There's
slow,
nothing
like if you
slow
compare
about
him
it.
to Sugar
That's
Ray,
power.
Leonard,
This is
okay.
power.
But
This is at 175. You don't have to be
he's
that
short,
fast. Look
quick.
at that.
Look at that.
Even Gallardo would say he's slow.
Oh, God.
I don't see it.
This guy's a caveman. I don't see
Yes,
this fight
yes.
going more than 7 rounds. Joe Smith has heart. He's going to take a punishment. He's going to take a beating.
Right.
I hope they have his insurance and everything paid up. I like the guy. He gives everything. He's going to leave parts of himself in this
But
ring. come
Beterbiev
this
isn't going to
weekend.
stand there with his gloves up like that.
Beterbiev is going to be working that body. I feel sorry for Joe Smith. It's going to be a bloodbath.
Your thoughts on the fight?
I'm proud of Joe Smith. He stepped up to take the fight. You know, a lot of these guys. are
Canelo
ducking-
didn't.
That's right.
ducking-
Canelo
ducking-
wouldn't.
didn't.
A lot of these guys are ducking Beterbiev.
Like Canelo.
Canelo would eat Canelo would eat him up alive. He-
Yeah, right.
After wait.
Earned the
Who's
right.
better, Bivol or Beterbiev?
Bivol.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
No,
think.
Beterbiev is the best at 175.
You don't think
no question.
Beterbiev would have done to Canelo?
No,
what
he
Bet-
never would have hit him. He never would have hit him.
He would have knocked
That's
Canelo
slow.
out.
Canelo
There's
would've
a
seen
reason.
it.
Listen,
Canelo would've
listen.
seen it
Let me
coming
tell you
from,
this.
from
Bivol was a
Mexico.
cherry pick going wrong. He thought he
Right,
could go up
exactly.
there and
I
get that
told
belt.
y'all that Bivol fight. I was worried about that fight.
Jim, you play both sides of the fence. So no matter what happens,
never
oh,
wrong.
I said that too. You also said
It was
he
either
would
go
dominate.
distance or
And
knockout,
Canelo's the
right.
best
But to
top
get back,
5 of all time.
Get back to who I'm proud of. I'm proud of this Joe Smith because he's taking it. He's taking the fight, and you know it's going to be a decent payday for him. It's a guy that has a few losses. Could be tailor made. He could be tailor made for slow.
A guy who
Could
has
be.
heart is a guy who's going to stand there, and I think Beterbiev is just going to unload on him. Do you agree with
Yeah.
that? This
You know, Joe-
is the wrong style for
Yeah,
Smith.
Joe Smith's not a guy that can move.
Right.
Bivol would be a tougher fight because
Right,
he can
he can
move and
move.
box a little more. Joe Smith's going to try to go toe-to-toe with a caveman. You can't do it. Marcus Brown tried to move a little bit, but then those body shots broke him down and made him quit in the ring.
Oh, Marcus Brown is soft.
Okay, that may be true, but Beterbiev does it to everybody. You better put some.
Soft brownie.
You better put some respect on Arthur's name.
What's the one
I
thing?
do respect him. He's just slow.
So
Can I
Jim,
say the obvious?
Jim, you say
George
everybody's slow.
Foreman was slow, and I loved him.
Jim,
Yeah,
I
but
don't think you know what slow is. Put your glasses on. Listen, he's 160, 175. He punishes everybody. He goes to the body, goes to the head, and gets a KO. What more do you want from that man?
I was going to ask you what, but you kind of answered the question. What's the one thing you can hang your hat on with Beterbiev, like Tyson, knockout? What Sugar Ray, feet, fast hand.
Body work, break you down, and then come up top. I mean,
He just doesn't go for the one big punch.
Right. He lays
Accumulation.
on. It keeps coming. He'll take one to give two, and you can't take his punishment.
See, I
He's
got
a
a special-
caveman.
I got a special TV. You guys got to come over to my house sometime and watch it, because when I turn it to one side, Beterbiev will even tell you can hear him saying, "Here come a hook to the body. Here come overhand right to the head. Here come an uppercut."
But they land, though.
So
But they land.
they land.
Is he the
against-
best light heavyweight in the world right now?
Well, put it this way.
yes.
Put it this way. If a guy like a Sugar Ray Leonard,
Jersey Joe Walcott.
Haney,
Devin Haney.
the Mr. T, they looking like Mr. T with all that jewelry. If
I
those
hate
guys,
jewelry.
if you had somebody, a Roy Jones Jr., if you had somebody like that at light heavyweight, they would eat this guy up. I think Canelo would eat him up.
Jim,
Okay, Jones Jr. I don't think
Listen.
that's a hell of a fight
Yeah,
right
you
there.
can't-
But I think Jones, I think he gets him. I think Jones gets him. But Beterbiev's tough though. He keep coming.
Oh,
And I
yeah,
think
he's
Jones
tough.
would
He's
just
from Russia.
too many damn
He's
punches.
from Russia. He's tough.
Do you think that Jones, since you brought that up, would just hit him with too many punches?
I don't think Jones would be in front of him. He just
Yeah,
he
is
Is
turned
that
on.
who Roy Jones used to train, or was it a different Russian?
It's not this
I
guy.
wasn't sure.
It's not this guy.
But I'm talking about right now, the light heavies right
You're
now.
going way back. We're talking now. He's
Right
the
now.
best, Jim.
Right now, and I think Bevel's better, and I think that
Better is Bevel better.
Canelo is better.
How's
Really?
Canelo coming off
I
a
wish,
dominating
I wish
loss?
we had a good black in here that was athletic, that at 175.
Luther, give me a
but we
prediction and round and everything.
I told you I don't think Joe Smith's scoring more than 8 rounds. Beterbiev.
Okay.
Beterbiev is just going to just destroy him. That body work. You can't go toe to toe with this guy unless there's a boxer who can move and get out of the way. He's going to eat you up.
don't. Any update on plants for next week?
Joe's going to be spitting up blood. It's going to get ugly
That's
out
what
there.
plants been spitting.
Not to piggyback, but I'm going with 9 accumulation of punches. I think he's going to mark him up. I think his corner's going to stop it. Beterbiev's going to win. Your
What country
prediction?
is Joe Smith?
He's from here.
He's from here.
Joe
Okay.
Smith.
So I'm gonna mark that down. a little
Glass-
less. We're not as tough as some of my foreigners.
Who do you got?
So I
I
got.
don't think, is he from here?
Yeah,
I got-
Joe Smith.
I got Beterbiev.
Butterbean.
in 7.
So okay, so we're right on the same page, all of us.
7, 8, 9
And knockout cuts.
cuts.
I think that's what I think. I think it's going to be face damage. I think his corner's just going to say that's enough, and you're going to hear the announcer say, "Hey," even Andre Ward and Bradley and all those guys are going to say. Although Bradley did a good job that last fight.
Did he?
Which fight?
The Berlanga fight?
No.
Oh, the fight before.
Oh my God, I'm losing my
What,
mind.
he
Getting
didn't
him.
show up?
Which
The
fight
Haney
was
fight? That
Haney
Haney
fight?
fight?
Yeah, he
The
did a
fight
good
he
job.
didn't show up.
It
Did he
was,
not
I
show up?
didn't, Tim Bradley was kind of off on this one because he didn't
This
see the
one?
bite. He was talking about the South African fighter.
Yeah, that died.
That
He
died,
didn't know.
and
He
he didn't
act
know
like
he-
he didn't know he
He
died.
didn't know. Yeah, that was
I
an
said,
embarrassing
oh,
performance.
man,
I'm talking about
he should
the-
be suspended
the
for
Haney
that.
fight.
He should be suspended for that.
Yeah, I mean, people do that all the time.
No, you got to
that's
be up
some-
on
That's
it.
something I could definitely. I've heard you say stuff like that. He's following. He must have seen some of
And
your
the
broadcasts.
FCC has suspended me several times.
Exactly.
Well, something that we talk about a lot. Jim rips on Floyd's record, AlI's record. So now, just like Luther and I, we shut him down whenever he said that this is the greatest era of all time in the heavyweight division. We shut him down. I hate to do it because I love Jim. We're going to have to shut him down again. Let's start with Muhammad. He didn't have a great resume, which we think he did, obviously, but you first.
Well, put it this way. Let me just give you a couple of
boy.
facts. Number one,
Fake news.
Muhammad Ali is different from Cassius
No,
Clay,
he's
in
not.
my
They're the same
opinion.
guy. Okay, but
Now, you had Cassius Clay was in the 60s. The best 4 years of Muhammad Ali's life, everybody says, was the 4 years
Right.
that was in the 60s. He joined the Nation of Islam. Number one.
Religion.
Right? That you
Preach-
guys say that
preacher,
that
preacher.
he was great for boxing
All
inside
right,
and outside
all right,
the ring.
Reverend.
Now,
All
let
right,
me just
Reverend
finish.
Jim.
He joined
Well, it's
the
not
nation.
just us,
He joined
everybody.
the Nation of Islam, so that's outside the ring, right? His mom and dad hated it because he changed his name. His dad really hated it. You know, Muhammad Ali didn't go to Vietnam because he opposed, is because the nation of the black Muslims.
We're talking
it was
about his
against
record.
the
Jim,
religion.
We're
can
talking
we
about
get
his
back
record.
to
I'm just going, let me just
You're
say
going
that.
all out of the box, Tim.
All
Come
right.
on.
Now, okay,
Focus.
we'll go back.
We're just talking about his record.
Now, Muhammad Ali, after 1971, was not the same fighter. He was a shot fighter, and from when he held the title,
about
from
shot.
I'm about to get
74
like Devin
to
Haney.
78,
Cut to the chase,
he
Tim.
fought a lot of bums. George Foreman was the number
Wait a
one
minute,
contender.
wait.
He refused to fight.
Norton
Let me
and
just
Frazier.
finish.
Can you go,
Bonavena.
can you,
Let me
can we
just
go to
finish.
the, can we
Let
go
me
to the
just
facts?
finish. Here's some guys he fought from 74 to 78.
Oh, my God.
Chuck Wepner,
Who was tough?
the bleeder.
Yeah, he
Joe
could-
Bugner,
he could take a
a
bitch
bum.
like no other.
Right.
A fat and over the hill Joe Frazier, Jean Pierre
Okay.
Koopman,
I'll give you him.
yellow down the middle of his back, Jimmy Young.
Jimmy Young was
Richard
tough.
Dunn was a bum.
Okay.
Alfredo Evangelista was
Okay.
a bum.
Stop calling these
Leon
dudes bums now.
Spinks was a bum.
He was not a bum.
And,
Not at the time.
So
He wasn't a bum.
Right there, those are just some of the fighters that Ali fought.
Okay, but
to
nobody.
keep
You
the
said it
title.
yourself. You ripped on me and Luther about saying about with Canella. You say he can't fight number one every
No,
single
he
time.
fought 18 world champions. None of these guys are world champions. None of them. None of them. None of
Those
them.
guys, but look at the guys he did
But
fight.
Ernie Shavers
And
wasn't a world champion, but he was one of the best.
And he only
punchers.
fought Ernie once. He didn't fight
I thought-
Ernie
I thought he
twice.
fought
In
him
no
twice.
way. Ali would have never fought him.
On
Yeah,
our
he fought
record, we
twice.
have it twice. You must have missed the
No,
fight.
he didn't. He only fought
Luther,
him once.
your opinion on that?
Listen, once again, Jim can't answer the question. When he's wrong, he goes all talking about religion, his parents, and all that. It's right here.
I asked him about his record.
Norton, Frazier, Hall of Famers. We got Foreman, Hall of Famer. We got Patterson. We got Liston, Hall of Famer.
I think Bob
These
Foster's a
guys-
Hall of Famer, is he not?
Right.
Yeah, he got to be a Hall of Famer. Bob
Listen,
Foster was
these
legend.
guys fought in the 70s, the greatest era, Jim. You can't say he didn't have a great resume. He had an amazing resume. The best resume maybe ever.
You're
The
right.
guys
He
he
fought
fought.
Cleveland Williams after he got shot 3 times in the stomach by the police. Yeah, he fought him.
If the doctors cleared him, he's fine.
But here's the
Oh,
thing:
wow.
he fought, and we'll talk about it with Floyd. But he fought boxers. He fought like Bob
Every
Foster.
style.
Floyd Patterson was
Guys
was
who
a
would stick your
boxer.
head out the ring. He would fight everybody.
Jimmy Young.
All
was
these
tough.
guys.
Then you had bangers like
Sonny
Chuvalo.
Liston. Guys
Sonny
wouldn't
Liston.
even fight Sonny Liston.
Right.
He fought him twice.
And he dominated.
Can you name me anybody he fought after 71? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, all these
Yeah.
guys.
All these guys.
All these guys.
No.
Norton.
He fight
Frazier.
listed after 71.
No,
I said
listen,
Norton.
no.
Frazier.
He fought the rest of
And
them.
we know Floyd Patterson was washed up when he fought
Oh,
him.
see,
He
Jim, you got an excuse
He fought
for
Archie
everything.
Moore.
You got
he
an
fought
excuse
Archie
for
Moore
everything.
after Archie Moore retired and was his trainer. He beat up
Ano-
Archie Moore.
another
Then he
Hall of
fought
Famer.
him
But
was
twice.
Jer- was
Another
Jerry Corey- you
another
talk about
Hall
Jerry
of
Corey
Famer.
all
I
the
love
time.
Jerry Corey. He
Jerry-
never fought him after 72.
72.
Yeah.
72. But my
well,
point
he
is,
did.
Luther,
I'm saying as a champion from 74 to 78,
Luther, my
Muhammad
point
Ali
is
was
this.
the most
Because I can
overrated
talk sense.
heavyweight
I
champion.
can talk sense to you. Ernie Shavers wasn't a champ. Jerry Corey wasn't a champ. Bugner, Wepner weren't champs. But you
tough.
knew you were in a fight after you were
And they
done.
would lay it all on the line.
They laid it on the
weren't
line.
champions.
They were not easy
They
to
weren't
knock
champion
down.
because of the
Right,
era they
right.
fought in. If they fought now,
Exactly.
all 3 of them would be champions.
question.
That was the greatest era. To get a belt in that era, you did something.
Well, listen, the 2 fighters that I loved the most was Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard. I used to
You
be
rip on
nervous.
Leonard all the time.
I used to be nervous when they fought. But I got to tell it like it is. From 74 to 78, Muhammad Ali fought predominantly bums.
No,
he got away with it because
Ron Lowell could bang. He could bang the hell out. George Foreman was George Foreman.
We're looking at his whole career.
Yeah.
You take 4 years and nitpick.
he was champion then.
He
Well, you
was
want me to
champion
talk-
before then.
He wasn't champion
Yes,
until 74.
Buster
They took the title off of him in
He still
67.
so that means he had the title.
No.
He had the title. They
What
took
do you
you just
mean?
said they took the title from him.
Joe
So
Frazier
that
had
means he
it in
it.
68. Joe Frazier had it in
What?
68. They took it off Ali in 67.
Jim,
He didn't get it
Jim,
again
your
until 74.
argument is garbage as usual.
And then he got it again when he got
take
Spinks the second time.
Just take the L. His resume is solid.
When 6 fight Spinks beat him.
Well, I think it's better than solid. And he fought a variety of fighters. He fought sluggers, he fought boxer punchers, and he fought boxers.
Have you ever seen anybody with these kind of people on their resume that was champs? Back then, there was one belt. You had to fight the #1 contender. George Foreman was the #1 contender.
Jim,
He ducked it.
But look at all champions.
He
Look at
fought
all
George
fighters.
Foreman.
No. You don't go. See, AlI was great. Like you said, some guys didn't need a belt. AlI could go to another country and fight a Richard Dunn. He could go somewhere and fight Joe Wepner. The Rocky movie showed that the guy would not.
One thing you have to understand, though, too. Canelo, who you love and adore, fights 3 times a year. Muhammad would fight a banger, let's say, and I don't have the stats in front of me, but let's say he fought Ken Norton in a hell of a fight. 3 months later, he fought again.
Exactly.
Yeah, he did.
Overrated.
Yeah. But he hurt. He busted his jaw.
Jim, it was the greatest era.
When AlI retired, he
what I'm
didn't
saying?
announce it for 8 months.
What's that?
AlI loved the title so much, when he knew he was going to retire, he wouldn't name it for 8 months to hold up the belt.
That's okay.
AlI only fought once or twice a year.
No.
Later
He only had 50 fights. He started fighting in 1960.
No.
He ended in 1980.
But
he had 50 fights.
But again, the war against Frazier, you don't fight
That took years off his
But you
career.
just said he
did fight.
fight Norton and come back.
Right, but let's say he fought Norton or a tough fighter and he took some punches. I think it was.
Then he fought 13 bombs.
No,
and then
but
he
that's
fight
still-
Norton
Jim,
again.
the point is, this is a Hall of Fame resume. He fought great fighters. He fought in the greatest
on the
era.
Hall of Fame?
Doesn't matter.
I
But these
can't-
ones are. The
Name
ones
what
we
color.
named are.
You can't read the names. They change the
Jim,
color.
we already went through the Hall of Famers. It's a Hall of Fame resume. Once again, you take another L on the boxing
This one
authorities.
that's in yellow is Jimmy Young.
Why don't you I didn't say he was the greatest, but everybody who fought
is
him
the greatest.
say that he was really tough to fight.
He stuck his head out the ring rope so nobody would hit him.
That's unique.
That's
yellow. I would say that's unique.
yellow. That's like
unique.
somebody sucker punching
Nobody
you and
looked good
running.
against him. Nobody
When
looked
I
good
grew
against
up,
him.
you couldn't do that. You could sucker punch a guy, but you had to stand there and fight.
Am I right,
That
though?
would be like somebody.
How stupid would Young have been to just stand there and hit me?
Exactly.
He's a heavyweight, ain't he?
But that's not his game.
Well, if I was one time AlI reached outside the rope and punched him, I would disqualify him as a referee.
There's
for
a
doing
guy
that.
who I know you know, Vito Antifermo. What's he get criticized for? He stood there, Arturo Gatti. Antifermo couldn't really do it. Gatti could box, but he said the hell he would do it for 2
Sometimes
seconds.
that Mexican style get you
Hard.
messed up bad. You know,
Hard.
guys who just want to stay and go toe to
Claudio,
toe.
hard.
They're Italian.
They had
Italian.
heart. They had heart.
Yeah, but that's not smart.
They had heart. They ain't going down
Well,
as yellow.
Antifermo,
They
okay,
ain't going down
but
as yellow.
Gatti could have boxed. He would box for
He had
30
more
seconds.
He had more skills than
Yeah, and
you
then
know,
My
he
like
was
out of the
favorite,
war.
John Gotti said in his latest movie with Travolta, never take a backward step.
right.
And that's what I like.
Well, we're going to get
And
to
that
Gatti
gets
here
a lot
in a
of
minute.
people to get the CTE that you have.
We're going
Jim.
to get to the Gatti Ward trilogy in a minute if we have
Sometimes you got
time.
to.
But Floyd Mayweather, another one.
You don't
Look
like
at
his
the
resume
list
either.
of guys, and we know about the Oscars and the Gattis and Canelo, but a guy that nobody talks about, who I thought he was going to lose against, was Baldomir, because Baldomir was like a tank, and he dominated Baldomir. The guy who gave him maybe the most trouble, at least for a few rounds, did pretty good, was Zab Judah. But he fought boxers, he fought sluggers,
People thought Zab Judah was going to have a chance against him, you know?
But
And he was
Luther,
doing
he
well
fought a
until his
variety.
dad, till they got in that little dust up.
Right.
And his dad came in.
How
and,
hard is it, though, to fight different fighters, going to training camp? Okay, I can't fight him like I did Baldomir. I have to move more, I have to do whatever. First of all, tell me about how hard it is to fight different fighters and talk about his record.
You know, that's what makes Floyd so great. Like you said, he would fight boxers, the Zab Judahs. He would fight sluggers, the Madonnas. He would fight Oscar, who could do everything he could do.
Yeah.
Gottis, who would go to war, and he made all of them look average or less than average. That's the mark of a great fighter. You know, he would stick and move. People tried to say he ran. No, it's the sweet science. Now, Pretty Boy Floyd was knocking guys out, but then he started having hand problems, so he figured out another way to make the adjustment. He would adjust in the ring. You know, early in the fight against Sugar Shane Mosley, he got hit with a right. Sugar Shane didn't get close with that right again. Just an amazing fighter, an amazing resume. How many Hall of Famers did he destroy? I don't care.
They weren't
if
close, you're right.
It wasn't close. He made it look
you're
so bad and so easy. Even a Canelo, in prime Canelo,
Boring.
he's still talking about He was so easy.
was boring.
Easy work. Floyd's resume is impeccable. 25 world champions, Jim. You can't say nothing about his resume. The best ever.
See how I'm keeping quiet? Let's see if you could do that.
I can't. I can't.
But real quick,
because
though,
you say some bull
forget
crap,
about
and I'm
Oscar.
doing stats.
Forget about the Hall of Famers or Pacquiao of the future. How about the Sharma Mitchells? Chop Corley was nothing to joke about. Diego Krause was big time.
What did he do to Ricky
Manfred-
Hatton? Oh, my
I
gosh,
thought
he
that was gonna be
destroyed Ricky
I
Hatton.
thought that was going to be a tougher fight, too. But Diego Krause was damn good.
yeah.
And Angel Manfredi, I know you remember him. I don't know if you remember Angel Manfredi,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
He was tough.
All them
But-
tattoos. He always won a tattoo battle.
Yeah. But Floyd made them. It wasn't like you were biting your nails who won the fight. The Oscar won. But the rest of them he dominated.
Oscar. You said what? Oscar?
I thought Oscar won.
Oh, no. He dominated Oscar, too.
Well, here we go. First of all, after 3 wars, like Claudia always talks about wars, after 3 wars, not only did Gotti never win another fight, but Ward immediately retired after the 3rd Gotti fight. Floyd Mayweather, with his minions, you're one of them, knew that Gotti was done. He fought him in. Oscar De La Hoya already had 5 losses and 6 kids when Floyd beat him, and I thought Oscar beat him.
No, he didn't.
He got his 50th win over Conor McGregor. How in the world could somebody?
And you
even
thought he
give
was
him-
the greatest of all time, though.
I thought he was
Let's be
going to
honest.
beat him.
Yeah,
But
okay.
how can you give somebody with no boxing experience?
You said he was gonna win.
Give him a 50th victory. It should have been sort of basically an
I thought
exhibition.
Berto was-
Sugar Shane Mosley, who got 10 losses and shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. After Floyd beat him, he went 3-4-1. He was a shot
He was at
fighter
the end of his
at that
career.
time. Zab Judah won the same after Kazazu knocked him out. You know what I mean? And Corey Spinks is another one on there. Hey, listen. Bottom line is, Floyd Mayweather is a very smart guy, business guy. He knew when to cherry pick some of these
There's no
big name
cherry
opponents.
pick. There's no cherry pick. You come up in the area you're at. He made
Artur
everybody look
Gotti wasn't a
average.
cherry pick.
Artur Gotti still had a name.
Didn't get a win. He was done.
There were people
He
who
was
thought
done.
he was going to win that fight.
Yeah.
Just like Hatton.
Only
just
reason-
like Pacquiao. Just like Canelo.
Who did
and he
Gotti
destroyed
fight?
him.
Who did Gotti fight in those trilogies?
Ward. Mickey Ward.
Only reason he fight Mickey Ward because Mickey Ward wouldn't come out of retirement. He begged Mickey Ward, I give you $10 million. Mickey said, I'm done.
No, but I mean, as far as
You
like
still
fighting
improved
somebody
your point,
when
Jim.
somebody's older, well, that's just the way it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can't help when you're born, Jim.
They said that about all fighters. Again, they said Rocky fought this guy when he was too old, or Muhammad fought this guy.
Well, he
what
did
the
fight
hell?
Joe Louis when he was
Oh, here we go. I've
Joe
proved that
Louis
point.
was how old?
But again, that's not anybody's fault. It was a name.
Right, that's when he was born.
They
right.
were
He's still on the resume.
were still named.
Oscar,
They still-
Oscar was still in his prime.
I never
yeah.
Canelo was in
I've
his
never
prime.
been
Oh,
a
my
fan of Oscar De La Hoya after he fought Chavez. I thought that you don't fight your idol like that. You knew Chavez was
That's
over
how
the
you
hill.
go to the next. That's
No,
passing the
no,
torch.
come
Again,
on,
that's
man.
that's
Come
called
on.
That's
passing
happened.
the torch.
They passed the torch again. Back to
you talking-
Rocky
Jim,
with Joe Louis. He didn't want to
come
fight
on.
Joe Louis.
He didn't. But see, Rocky
Joe
didn't
Louis
have a
needed the
belt
money.
then. Rocky, and then he was still on the come.
But he had to fight him to
Yeah,
get
that's
that.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying, to get to the
Pass
next
that
level.
torch.
But,
It's
but
always been a
Oscar didn't
torch
have to
pass.
fight Chavez.
Larry Holmes didn't want to fight Ali.
No, yes,
Right.
he did. He wanted to kill Ali.
Oh, I don't know about
Larry Holmes. He couldn't
No,
wait.
he passed
He
his
couldn't wait
prime.
to beat Ali to death.
I don't know about
He
that.
was always jealous of Ali.
Well, but I don't think you can. So what do you?
But if you
criticize-
hold a belt, you should never have to. You should never fight your idols unless you just want to beat them up.
That's Jim talk. That's
You
crazy
think?
talk.
Wait a minute. Oscar De La
Terry
Hoya.
Norris fought Sugar Ray Leonard. That was his. Listen, it's a passing of the torch.
Vinny fought Durant.
Vinny
He
fought
loved-
Durant.
We're
Vinny-
talking about.
Vinny has
We're talking
Durant
about legends.
pictures.
We ain't talking about Orland
He should
Norland.
have. He should have been. He should have been.
Terry
He
Norris.
should
What
have been.
about Vinny and Durant?
Huh?
Vinny has
Durant,
pictures
yeah.
of Durant all over his house, in his garage, in his training area. He had to fight him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Why?
Durant
What's
was
the
still,
difference?
Durant wasn't over the hill. He was still battling.
Well,
Durant was
at
still
the,
battling.
he was at
He was-
the end of his
he was
career,
definitely-
Jim. Come
Every-
on.
huh?
He was towards the tail end of his career. Stop.
Was that before or after he built Davy Moore?
Oh, it
No,
was way after.
Way after?
Way after.
Was that before?
That was in
after
the
he-
80s.
After he pretty much
He
beat
fought
Hagler.
Vinny in 90-something.
Yeah, what are you talking?
Well,
Jim,
I mean, that's
get your
okay.
years
But-
right. You're mixing decades up now.
But what I'm
Jim.
saying is, I'm talking about Oscar. He had no business fighting his idol.
Why? That was the
Chavez,
fight.
because he had the
Passing
title.
the torch.
Rocky Marciano had to fight Joe Louis, number one, to give Joe a payday, to satisfy the government and the IRS. And number two, he didn't have a title. He had to fight. He had to fight as he moved up.
But you don't
these
like any
guys-
of the guys that Floyd fight. You don't think
No,
that, now your
I
boy
give him
Canelo,
credit
look what he
where
did to
credit's
Canelo.
due. Money Mayweather was
Or
outstanding.
either one, but he
Not
fought
Money
Robert
Mayweather,
Guerrero.
Exactly.
Not Money Mayweather, but what I'm talking
Pretty
Pretty Boy.
Boy.
Pretty Boy was outstanding. I
You
like
like
Pretty
to
Boy.
separate all these guys.
'Cause they are separate.
Listen, there was Pretty Boy was knocking guys out, but then he started having hand issues, so he had to change his style up.
And what's that got to do
So-
with it?
and he still
I didn't like that
dominated.
style.
And he
I
still
didn't like
dominated.
the brittle hand style.
Hey,
I
it
didn't like the
happens.
brittle
It
hand
happens.
style.
A lot of guys go through it.
What hand did he put in the
And was
clay
50,
for the?
was 49 McGregor or was Berto?
No, 50,
50
was
was McGregor.
50,
50 was McGregor.
50 was McGregor.
And Berto was 49.
Berto's
Okay. All right. But again,
Another
he
shot guy.
but he fought name guys,
Yeah,
Jim.
but
I mean,
they
I
were
give him
shot.
credit.
But I mean, he was a businessman. You know, when he went to the Hall of Fame, what hand did he put in the mud, in the clay? What brittle hand did he put in, Lou?
But I think we've proven Jim wrong again.
Again, Jim, you
Muhammad
just-
had a
you
great
keep
resume.
catching L's on here,
I mean, he fought bangers.
Jim, I
And
just
all of a
wanna know-
sudden, at the Hall of Fame, he gonna fake cry and say his daddy was his hero. His daddy was worked other corners against him.
Oh,
They hated each other. Never went to
Jim,
visit his dad in jail.
Jim, you know a lot of fathers and sons.
You know
if they're
Mayweather
training, sometimes
wasn't
they
his last
separated.
name when he was born, don't you?
Jim, his name is
Now all of a
his
sudden
name-
he a Mayweather.
His name is Mayweather. All right, Jim.
What's it on the birth certificate?
Jim comes
You
up
seen
with
the
all
birth
this.
certificate, Jim?
Yes.
I want to see that, Jim.
He left us in silence.
He's a St. Clair.
We didn't
He
see
always
that
be a
curveball.
St. Clair.
That's
He's
Smokepedia.
a St. Clair and
So-
always will be. Middle name was Joy. They must
Let
have
me
thought
ask.
he was
Let
a
me ask you
girl.
this: Who had a better resume, Muhammad or Floyd? We may do that. Have
That's
like
a better
brackets.
question. That's a better question. I'd have to look into it right now. I'm going to say Ali, just because he fought in the greatest era of heavyweights.
Thanks, Lee.
But Floyd had a great resume as well. But the 70s, 60s, when he fought, man. If you do a top 10 heavyweight, you're going to pick at least 5 or 6 from that era.
I'll tell you what I'm going to say, and I'll get to you. I'll tell you
will
what I'm
you
going to
if you
say,
have any
Ali,
brains.
because the guys Floyd fought, with the exception of Baldomir and maybe Gaddy, none of them were like huge punchers.
Good point.
It's a lighter weight, too. though.
Yeah, but still,
You can
it's
still punch
relative.
He's
but-
a
pound for
lighter
pound.
weight.
That's why they got
Okay.
pound for pound.
Right,
It's lighter.
very good.
In
But
that
Ali-
weight division, they were decent
Trinidad
punchers.
was a killer.
Trinidad was a Corte,
Yeah.
could hit. So you had some knockout guys back then.
When
For
Corte
that
from
weight
Africa.
division.
I'm not sure.
Yes,
Corte,
he's
yeah.
from Africa.
He had a
Gone.
blonde
In that
hair.
division,
He had
yeah,
blonde
come-
hair.
but
He had blonde
Ali,
hair, too.
I mean, Frazier can bang. Foreman, obviously. Corey, Lyle, Shavers. Wepner could hit.
Yeah.
Buster could hit. Chevalo, Liston, of course. So I think I'm going to say Ali's record was a little more
I'll
impressive.
give it that. I agree.
Then
with
I must be wrong.
I
then.
agree with you and Luther on that one.
Oh, so
We
Ali's
must be
record
wrong.
must be pretty good.
We must
then.
be wrong,
You
Liz.
just
No, I
ripped
said
it.
from 74 to 78.
Oh,
Muhammad
God,
Ali
here
fought
you
a
go,
bunch of
cherry
bums.
picking.
Fought a bunch of
You-
bums when he
just
was
like
champ.
your hero, you cherry
He
pick
wasn't
certain
champ from
things.
67 to 74, but once he became champ, he fought all bums.
He fought, okay, who did he duck?
Huh?
Who are they saying? Like, with,
Foreman.
no offense.
George
to
fought
him.
Foreman.
No, he didn't.
No,
like
he fought
Riddick
Foreman.
Bowe,
George
Riddick
was
Bowe and
number one
Lennox
contender.
Lewis.
He fought Foreman. And
Why
then
did he fight him
after
again?
beat him, because he
Because he
left the sport for a while.
George was there. He was there for
Did he
6
lead the
years.
sport, Jim?
He was number one contender for 6 years.
Ask George,
and
everybody's
Hollywood
number one
fight.
ask
contender for
George
6
if he
years.
wanted that fight again.
Let me
Yes,
ask you
he
this.
begged for
No,
it. Everywhere
no,
he went.
No, you've never heard him say,
He
I
went and
wanted
fought
to fight him
he
again.
went and fought exhibition in Toronto. He fought those 4 guys in
4
one day.
guys to prove he
Yeah.
had stamina. He fought 5 guys,
Confidence
actually.
guy.
5 guys.
Well, okay, but let me ask you this, though. They say that Bo ducked Lennox. We can say that.
He threw a belt in the trash can.
So
That's
there's
proof.
certain fights that didn't
Yeah.
happen over the years. Name me a fighter that
can't.
Muhammad did not fight
He
that he
can't
should
do
have
it.
fought.
Number one, he didn't fight Foreman the second
but he
fight.
fought him
Jimmy
once.
fought
Wait a
him.
minute.
No,
Foreman
that
was
don't
the number one
count.
contender when there was one belt. He's fighting Buckner when he should be fighting Foreman.
Jim,
number
he
one.
fought
Now,
him.
let me
That
know.
don't count. That
Number
don't
two,
count.
Larry Holmes.
But Larry
From
was
74
coming
to
up.
78. No, Larry Holmes should have had a shot. He never fought Larry Holmes.
I think Holmes was champ in 79. He won the belt.
78.
Okay, 78 against Norton. You're right. I think that anniversary is coming up like now, if I'm not mistaken.
So that means in 77 or 76, he should have been having a shot instead of Evangelista or
Jim,
somebody.
you can't, again, all these people you're naming are people he
Larry
fought.
Holmes.
No, he fought him at the tail end of
No,
his career.
no, he
Very
come
end.
back. He come out of
Very end.
retirement to get that whooping. He come out of retirement. To
Then
get
why
that-
would he have fought him when he was still had something left?
Who?
Muhammad.
Because
It is
he
like
didn't.
ducked him.
Because he knew he couldn't beat him. He was in his.
Listen,
he was in his Deer Lakes, PA training camp. He's like getting
I
beat to
think in
death
his
by
day-
Holmes. He said, "Get rid of
There's
this
no-
guy."
Prime Ali, or even at that point, Ali would have beat him. Just when he came out of retirement
No,
to
he
get
was-
that check.
Prime Ali was before 71. After 71,
He still had it
you
in
got
72,
You
3, 4,
mixing
5.
shoes, Jim. You mix and choose. You need
He
to
couldn't
stop
float
that.
like a butterfly and sting like a bee.
He was a
after
different
71.
fighter.
Exactly, he
Again,
was a different fighter.
again,
of
Cassius
course,
Clay-
people age. Just like we
Right.
talked about, Floyd had to change.
Right.
He
Well, they
had
say
to change.
Cassius Clay bragged about, or he prided himself in avoiding punches.
Right, exactly.
Muhammad prided
Who
himself
was
in being able
better?
to take a
Great point.
Who was better,
Great
Cassius
point.
Clay or Muhammad Ali? In your opinion, I'm talking about your opinion.
They're the young.
Muhammad had
your
Muhammad
opinion.
hit harder.
I think I said your
Okay,
opinion.
Muhammad hit harder, but I didn't like the way he took punches. But Cassius Clay didn't take any punches. He was more pretty
And was
to watch.
fast.
Oh yeah,
Pretty to
listen,
watch.
but he was
So
younger.
Cassius-
Younger,
We're all
Jim.
Cassius
He was
Clay
younger.
over here. Are you Cassius
No, he was
X?
younger.
Muhammad Ali, the younger Muhammad
get what
Ali
you're
was
saying.
better because he was
Cassius
more.
Clay.
You couldn't hit him. He was faster.
Yeah,
and,
Cassius
and you
Clay.
couldn't hit him. He was
Cassius
stick and
Clay,
move.
yeah.
But
And
the
he-
older
and he-
version, after he had to take the time off,
The one that
he didn't
that,
have
one
And I'll
those.
say
that
this
fought
real
the
quick.
wrestler. The
And
one
I'll
that
say
fought
this.
the wrestler.
Oh,
that
Jim.
beat up his
Inoki,
legs.
that hurt his legs.
That hurt his
But I'll say
legs.
this. He was still Cassius Clay in the 70s, but not as much.
Yeah,
Okay.
he got
did
older.
not as
He
much.
got older,
He
Jim.
definitely wasn't in 74. So
But
when
took-
did he stop being
Frazier
Cassius
knocked the
Clay?
hell out of him. George Foreman, even though he beat Foreman
He
just
sure
pounded
wasn't
him.
himself out.
He sure wasn't Cassius Clay then. That's why he did the rope with dope, because he couldn't dance no more.
Of
I
course,
wouldn't
it's
have
an
fought that
age
way.
thing. Yes, of course, he got older,
Well,
Jim.
You keep talking like he's float like a butterfly,
But he
stinging
was,
like a bee.
both were great fighters. Cassius and Muhammad were
It's just
unbelievable
Muhammad
fighters.
Ali couldn't do what the younger
Different,
guy
yeah.
could do. All these guys changed, Jim.
Yeah.
What are you talking
yeah,
about?
And he fought a lot of. That's what I'm saying. He fought. Bombs.
I don't see the
He
bombs.
fought a lot of bombs.
No, he fought
But
Hall of Famers.
something we're gonna
and
get
you just
to-
see, this is what I'm talking about. He just talked about his resume, and then when you said him and Floyd, he agreed with, oh yeah, definitely Ali. Great
compared to
resume.
Floyd,
You're
yeah.
all over the place.
all
Yeah,
over
compared
the
to Floyd.
Both sides of the fence.
Compare him
Jim.
to Joe Lewis' resume and it
politician.
be Joe Lewis.
The
We
politician.
talked about
Frazier.
Gaddy and Ward, and they had perhaps, and Luther, I'll ask you, is it the greatest trilogy of all time? Arturo Gaddy and Mickey Ward, who ended up becoming the best of friends. We have some pictures or videos of that. Luther, your thoughts on that?
Gotti Ward was just
Just
toe
stood there.
to toe. There's no head movement. Very little D.
Frank Cappuccino, the
Mano
ref.
a mano. Bam, left, right. This was a great fight. If you like guys standing, CTE could be setting in at any moment. These guys laid it all on. Look at the blood dripping from his eye. Ward, Gotti was amazing. Both guys would take punishment and still wouldn't put up their guard. I love this fight. It was a tremendous fight. Not the best trilogy ever, but action-packed. It may have been the most action-packed trilogy. Look
Luther,
at
what
the
do I always say
shots.
about accuracy? Was there ever a more fighter more accurate than against
You had to
Gaddy?
try to
Yeah,
miss.
right.
Because he's right there, both of these guys. You had to try to miss a face. Look, no D. Look at that. Ward just taking lefts and right. Oh, my God.
And they kept coming back. Look at
This
Gaddy
is-
just sticking
this
his
is-
damn head there.
This is what Jim likes. I love this
it.
too.
I love
But it takes a toll on you. Neither
Oh,
guy
my
was the
God.
same after these wards. But I loved it. I loved it.
Smoking Jim, your thoughts on
In
it?
the second round, Jimmy Young walked out of the arena. But hey,
Why you gotta bring
Hey, I wish Artur was more like Jimmy Young in a sense.
Hey, one of them should have stuck their head out
Yeah,
of the
that's
ring.
right.
All
Man,
that
listen.
punishment.
listen, this goes back to reason why I fell in love with boxing, because in boxing, if you're a fighter, you're a fighter. Evenly matched guys will fight each other, and those are some of the greatest fights in history. None of these guys are going to go down as one of the greatest all time.
God,
But
he's a Hall
man,
of
they
Famer,
had
man.
the heart. They would fight anybody. They didn't duck anybody. And I tell you
didn't
what,
duck any
man,
punches
they're
either.
still talking about this years later. That's what the sweet science is all about, man. People wouldn't have been jumping to the UFC and the MMA if you still had fighters with heart like this. Now you got guys that's picking and choosing. You know,
Canelo? You talking about Canelo?
Back in the day, guys fought. That's what I'm saying. These up-and-coming guys fight somebody who's available.
Are you talking about Canelo?
No, I'm talking about guys fighting. These guys are. Canelo already put his work in. He got 7
Well, you make a
fights.
point. Ward and Gaddy didn't have to fight.
No,
it wasn't for
no.
rankings or belts or anything like that. They just fought.
Yeah, they fought
They
because
fought.
they,
And they made a great trilogy
Yeah,
out
But
of
one
it.
thing though that
Evenly
like
matched.
with Gaddy, I'm screaming, move like with Vinny. I hated when Vinny, and you can even hear me on some of the fights. He'd tell the guy, hit me hard, do that Rocky stuff. I said, Vinny, get the hell out of the way. Why
Different
do that?
mindset with these guys.
And then Vinny
Boxers
says,
are a
if I don't
special
do
breed.
that, I'm just some 5'7" super middleweight.
Yeah.
And I got what he meant. But God, I mean, this isn't like I said, hoops or good. You want to take me, but no, this is boxing where you get hit. And Gaddy, like you joke sometimes about leaning in with your face. That's what he did, and Ward just blasted him. But they made good money on it, and they are going to go down in history. You said it wasn't the best trilogy. Do you think it was the best trilogy?
Well, it was way better than
Wilder and Fury, I know you just-
Hearns and Hagler. This
They
was
didn't
a
fight
real
3
fight.
times.
I mean,
think so, no.
No, they
Huh?
fought once.
what you said? No, I'm just saying. This
Oh, the
was
rounds.
Oh, the one.
Yeah, well, I think that historically,
means
He's worrying me.
Historically,
Trilogy means three, Jim.
historically, Ali Frazier would go down.
That's right.
Yes, that's
But
the best
after,
Yes.
but I think this is better
Number 2?
because after '71, Ali and Joe Frazier were both over the hill.
what
That
But they still
Manila
gave
was-
it, though.
Manila was 2 fat guys.
You have to
One
say
another.
Frazier Ali was
Now, where do you put Bo and Holyfield?
Holyfield.
That had
Okay, I'm gonna go
they had-
Ali.
They had people sliding in from
Yeah,
they had
and they
helicopter
hit
man,
too. They
and
hit. I'm going to go with Ali Frazier, obviously number 1. Okay, so the big ones are Fury Wilder, Ali Frazier, Ward Gaddy, and Bo and Holyfield. Wow, we're going to say that
Well,
for
the
sure.
we gotta say
We're
that.
gonna say
the
that.
second Wilder Fury fight eliminates them. So
No, that's got to be in there.
So
We're going to
Jim,
make that
remember,
another.
trilogy means 3, buddy.
He started to
call
worry
it-
me. I said,
he said,
"Look,
what-
did Hearns and Hagler, did I miss something?"
we got to write it down for Jim
So
sometimes.
give me your number. Give me your
We're
number.
going to make that an episode.
You
I mean,
okay,
a
we'll
segment.
make
I'm
it,
sorry.
all right, okay.
Yeah, that'll be good because we only have a couple minutes
Okay.
left. But arguably, it is. We're definitely going to talk about it. There's definitely some trilogies out there.
Yeah.
That are worth talking about. But you watch that after all these years, and like I said, move your damn head.
Man, there was no D.
He didn't give a damn. He just said, "Here, take it." And Ward could hit. I mean, he wasn't a one-punch guy, but
Accumulation of punches.
And
oh
I
my
saw Ward in
gosh.
person at the Hall of Fame, as I said, and with Vinny a couple years ago. And he looks like a regular
Yeah,
guy.
not a big
But
guy.
Man, he
Man.
was tough. Man, he was tough.
After that third fight, Floyd said, "Get me Gotti."
Oh gosh, he had a big name. He had a big name
got-
after that.
yeah,
Yeah,
trilogy.
they
nothing
brought in
left.
money. Yeah.
It's a
He
big
had nothing
name.
left.
All right, our popular segment, Boxing Mailbag. Please continue to send your great comments, questions to boxingmailbag@yahoo.com or on my website at claudiorelsano.com. You are a part of the show. Thank you so much. Okay, Gene from Detroit. Why are you not a fan of Emmanuel Stewart? He had great champs like Hearns, Lennox, Vlad Klitschko. Why don't you like him?
Well, Obakar was a great fighter that he ruined. Caveman Lee was a great fighter that he
Caveman Lee.
ruined.
He didn't ruin
He
him.
ruined more
He didn't
fighters.
ruin
than-
him.
Well,
Come on,
one
Jim.
time in the corner, Caveman Lee's fighting the guy he shouldn't have been in there with. Emmanuel Stewart said, "Go get him. You ain't got no education. What else you got?" He went and got knocked out. Same way he did with Obakar. There's so many fighters. You just talk about the headliners. Hearns made him.
But you know what, though? Let me ask you this. I'll ask you both real quick. What are the 2 most popular gyms?
Crunk Jim is one.
And
It's in the ghetto. Any gym in the
Gleason.
ghetto.
Gleason.
Any gym in the
Gleason.
ghetto.
so,
is popular.
so he had to do something right to make it.
Yeah, he had Tommy Hearns. Yeah, he had Tommy Hearns.
But he
Listen, that whole style, that Detroit, the Crunk Jim is legendary.
Name me somebody else. James
Listen,
Tony's from
listen,
Detroit. He
we
didn't
can
fight
even
the
go
Crunk.
now. Even
James Tony's
Fury.
from
Even
Detroit.
Sugar Hill Stewart,
Right,
look what
right.
he's done with Fury.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, because you don't want to see. You don't have your glasses on. You don't see a lot of stuff.
I think he's one of the. I think he's
He's
in
one of
the
the great-
top.
he's
You know,
one of
when
the
you talk
legendary
about
trainers, Jim.
Dundee, you talk about Emmanuel Stewart, Futch, all those guys.
Yeah,
You-
those guys were great. Yeah.
And Stewart's right there with him.
No.
Crunk Jim.
Yep. Well, as always, we hope you enjoy our show as much as we enjoy bringing it to you. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Boxing Authorities.